This is Jose Rivera right here. Hope you guys ready to get tuned in. Today's episode is going to be Happy Birthday, America, Birth of a Nation. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let my two co-hosts, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and introduce themselves.
What's going on? What's going on? This is Dwayne Nettles, a.k.a. Mr. Nettles, representing the Last and HipHop podcast.
Am I a guest or am I a co-star? What'd you say?
You a guest right now.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yes, sir.
Man, this is Maximilian, whatever you want to call me. Yeah. I'm back with the guys, man.
Max is back for round 2.
I'm back with the guys, man. Round 2, man.
All right, so we're gonna jump right into it. So since this is the 4th of July edition, Happy Birthday, America, Birth of a Nation. Let's jump straight into the new episode. Segment 1. Before we start though, let's get started with what you're wearing. So, Max, since you're back for round 2, go ahead and get us started with what you're wearing. What you rocking today?
Listen, man, I'm showing love to my guy, Peace Guys. You know what I mean? Atlanta.
Okay, trap.
Fashion, streetwear, designer.
Okay.
Nazable, you know what I'm saying? Man, you stink, you know what I mean? So yeah. I don't know.
All right, what you rocking today, Jose?
I'm just rocking, you know what I'm saying, basically, you know, black tee. You know what I'm saying? Got a couple chains on. Got the, you know, classic blue jean jacket. You know what I'm saying? I got to show y'all. I'm barefooted right now, but if I was going outside, I'll probably be rocking these joints right here. You feel me? If I was going outside. The Huarache joints.
Huarache.
You know, we could go 40, 50 episodes, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it is what it is. You know, I'm going to be trying to compete. Let's go, my man. Let's go, Wayne.
Look, Kurt said we're going 40, 50 episodes and look, never repeat a pair. I got you. All right. So just like last week, starting from the bottom up. So my kicks this week, we rocking the Space Jams over here this week.
Okay.
We got the Atlanta Jams. I got my Kurt say I'm culturally appropriate. I got my headband today, my LRG headband.
Yeah.
I'm rocking my bad boy hockey jersey, the Biggie Small.
You know, Sean.
Little something light. Nothing major.
You saw the news on Sean. Sean is I forget. I think Sean is about to be like running for office in Grenada. Yeah, Belize. Yeah. Running for some, I forget what position, but yeah, running for office. I know Diddy shouted him out on Instagram.
Listen, Sean, he got time for it because he forgot how to rap.
Oh, don't do my.
Come on now.
Don't do my name. Like you did that. We not gonna do that shit.
No,
He ain't gonna do that.
Nah, bro.
I forgot how to rap.
Come on.
Listen,
Sean went.
Sean went into jail, the best rapper from New York, and came out like he was like selling quarter waters on the corner, dropping.
Listen, starting early. The show ain't even start. The show just started.
He's showing disrespect already.
Cool.
Come on, Wayne. Come on, bro.
Shout out to Sean, man.
Shout out to Sean. He got a classic and a very good album. Godfather Buried Alive was a good album. But everything after Godfather Buried Alive was garbage. It's like the man forgot how to rap.
For another show, for another day.
We'll discuss it. New York's gonna be mad at me again. I'm sorry.
Come on, yeah. What's up, man? Come on.
New York coming from my head. Shout out to Sean. Shout out to Bad Boy. Take that all day. All right, so since it's the 4th of July episode, we're going to jump straight into it with our first topic of discussion for today. And that is simply, should Black people celebrate the 4th of July? So who want to jump in first? Should Black people celebrate 4th of July?
Max?
I guess I tackle it first, man.
Go ahead.
You know what's crazy? You know, coming up, I never looked, you know, shout out to the troops and things like that. You know what I mean? Like a lot of black people, you know, serve, you know, in the army, service, Air Force, whatever. But I never looked at it outside of that. Like I just thought like it was family get-togethers, and I never looked at it like that. Like, you know, we celebrate in America's birthday. I never looked at it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not even considering like all the things America has done to black people. You know what I mean? You know, I just looked at it as barbecues. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never thought that far. Like,
right.
You know, but you know, it's definitely, you know, this year, especially everything that's going on, is you know, it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting.
Definitely interesting. How you feel, Jose?
No, I mean, when it comes to like honoring, you know what I'm saying, the troops that served in there, if you got African Americans or black people that served in the military, I can honor them on Memorial Day and Veterans Day. You see what I'm saying? I look at like 4th of July just a day for me just to go out and get up with the family. That's basically it. If I can make it, I'll make it. If I don't, it's really not a big deal. But until America can actually do the right thing and rewrite their wrongs to where everybody feels like they're a part of the country and the culture, you're not gonna see me in no America t-shirt. No, that's not gonna happen. I'm straight.
All right, I'm gonna tackle it from well, similar perspective, but a little bit different. We're gonna approach it from a historical perspective. I had a conversation recently with Max, and I think so. 4th of July is America, essentially America's birthday, Independence Day, quote unquote Independence Day. But I think to myself, what does Independence Day look like for an enslaved person? So what does that look like? We're celebrating the country's independence, but yet the people of this country aren't all independent and free. So it's very problematic in that stance. So in that sense, I don't think black people should celebrate, quote unquote, celebrate 4th of July. We'll celebrate Independence Day when we're all independent, and I think that's my stance on it. And I think that's what we're gonna sit on it. For me, so I don't think we should celebrate. Of course, you know, take the time, spend with your family, enjoy it, take the time off. But I think we should use this time, use our platforms as a point of to speak out and speak about the independence. Like, how independent are we? Are we free if everybody not free? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a big thing. So for me and mine, we're gonna celebrate the 4th of July is Juneteenth Part 2. Turn up.
Right.
Turn
exactly.
Up. Juneteenth Part 2.
Exactly. It's Juneteenth Part 2.
Juneteenth 2.
Like, we don't even, right. Thank you.
I like that.
I'm digging that. Like, Juneteenth Part 2, man. Like, you know, I'm taking that, and we gonna turn up. You know what I mean? Again.
All right, but we don't like to have this be a one-way conversation. So we're gonna post this on the Last on Hip Hop page to promote some discussion, get your ideas. What are the people thinking about black people celebrating the 4th of July? What are your thoughts? Let us know. We'll post it on the page next week. So moving into the next topic, we're gonna hop into sports. Since we're talking about 4th of July and independence, let's talk about the New England Patriots. So my boy I spoke about last week, who made my top 5, who Jose said didn't have a job, now has a job. My man Cam Newton has just signed with the New England Patriots. So with that being said, we're not gonna delve into the top 5 again. That's a discussion for another day. But let's focus on the task at hand. How do we feel about Cam Newton signing with the New England Patriots?
With that, I mean, I feel like it's either gonna go really, really good, or it's gonna go really, really bad. I don't see really no medium. I mean, they already got the dude Jarrett Stidham. I mean, he's basically waiting to get that opportunity. I think Cam Newton, I feel like if he's healthy and they build the offense around him, I think it'll work. But I feel that if Cam is not healthy, the offense isn't really built around him. He has to fit in that offense. If he's uncomfortable, it's not gonna work. I mean, I wish him the best. I mean, I feel like he has the athleticism and the QB awareness to, move that ball forward and get them touchdowns. What you got to say, Max?
Listen, man, Cam been putting a lot of work in. He wasn't in my top 5, but listen, I mean, like me and Wayne had some talks, and I can see why. We were comparing him, or we were comparing Wayne to Michael Vick. We were comparing the two who had the better the stats, and I would say no, don't do it yet. But not to get off topic. I think Cam has been putting a lot of work in. He's like he said, he's not doing it for the money. As we can see, he just wants to prove himself that he can be that MVP type quarterback again. So man, I'm nothing but positive, towards this direction, and I hope he does well.
Yeah, I think it's a good look. Just to piggyback off what Jose said, I think a healthy Cam Newton definitely looks great in New England. I think in combination with Bill Belichick with the offense. To be honest, Bill Belichick, I could play quarterback for New England Patriots. Bill Belichick, that's all. I think a healthy Cam Newton and Bill Belichick in that offense. I think they have an opportunity to really come in, maybe not pick up where Tom Brady left off, but to pick up and to at least put them in contention for the division. I would say. Right. So also discuss the Cam Newton signing. One thing I saw that kind of took me by surprise was looking at the deal he signed. So Cam signed 1 year, max $7.5 million deal. So just in comparison to some guys around the league and some recent contract signings, it just seems a little. I don't know. I think Cam definitely has a chip on his shoulder and he has a lot to prove this season.
Oh yeah,
and especially with the contract. Just for comparison, Chase Daniel just signed with the Detroit Lions, 3 years, $13 million. Tom Brady just signed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2 years, $50 million. And even not to compare him to Tom Brady, because Tom Brady is going to be touted as the GOAT, the greatest of all time. So I'm going to give him his due and give Tom Brady his credit. So Tom Brady probably deserves 2 years, $50 million. Let's look at somebody else in the lane of elite quarterbacks. I feel like Cam, now that he has an MVP, I think he's in the echelon of being known as an elite quarterback. Phillip Rivers signs a 1 year, $25 million deal in Indianapolis. And Phillip Rivers has historically been consistent stat-wise, but he's never been a guy who's going to lead you to playoff wins or to compete for the division. So I have a hard time seeing Phillip Rivers getting 1 year, $25 million. He gets the benefit of the doubt over Cam Newton, who's getting a 1 year, $7.5 million incentive-laced contract. So at max, he can make $7.5 million. And then just to stay on that lane, so just so it's not about race per se, we look at Cam's former team, the Carolina Panthers. They just signed Teddy Bridgewater 3 years, $63 million.
Oh whoa!
So I just feel like at this point it's almost like a slap in the face to Cam and what he had, especially being that it's a 1 year deal. I don't see how the Patriots lose by signing him to at least a decent.
They don't lose at all.
Like give him something competitive. I would say at least.
Cam. Cam, like, man, for a second, some people doubted me, so I'm now I can, vibe with him on that tip. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to prove myself. You know what I'm saying? So I dig that. But at the same, I can't lie. You know what I mean? Like, it's compared to all the, everybody else you just named. It's like, dang. But it's a bigger, initiative at hand.
Definitely. We'll see where the chips fall this year. I'm riding with Cam. Hopefully, he has a good season. I'm torn because I hate the Patriots with all my heart and soul. But even with that being said, I want to see Cam thrive. I want to see him do well. We'll see what happens.
Thanks.
So staying on the topic of the NFL, Bleacher Report just reported that the NFL is considering playing the Black national anthem prior to games, as we call it the Negro national anthem. So what are our thoughts on the NFL playing the Negro national anthem before the games?
When it comes to that, I feel like all these organizations, they're doing everything but leveling the playing field with Black Americans or African Americans with everybody else. Listen, we understand that you want to sympathize with us and you say, hey, we want to include you guys, but we didn't ask for this. Nobody in the Black community was like, can you play the Negro national anthem? No, we need opportunities. I need to be able to go to a bank and have the same opportunity as someone from a European or Caucasian or even white background. I need to be able to do that. I don't want to go into a bank and, I get turned down because of this, and this, or even just opportunities like employment. I just want equal opportunity to where I have the same advantages as white people. And I don't feel like that national anthem is doing it for me, so I don't really care.
Man, it's a minstrel show, man. It's stupid. Like, come on, man. Like a damn black national anthem. Like, come on, like really? How? And I hope people don't just like, you know what I mean, just sip this Kool-Aid, just eat this up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, like it and all these other corporations that's like, all this Black Lives Matters. Like, listen, man, stop it. You know what I'm saying? It's a spit in your face. That's how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want real change. You know what I mean? Some laws changed and things of that nature. But all this, you know what I mean? It's just stupid.
Clout chasing.
Ooh, so, I like that, man.
The NFL is clout chasing. The NFL is definitely clout chasing. Like Jose said, nobody black.
Let's get serious, man. Silence to me.
Nobody black came to NFL and say, "Hey, can you play the Negro national anthem?"
Right.
I want to hear lift every voice and sing before the games, which I don't care. Like yes. Matter of fact, let's do this.
Really?
Let's not play lift every voice and sing before the national anthem. Let's replace the national anthem with lift every voice and sing. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
And then sign Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, and there you go. And that's my thing.
And let's get some more black coaches.
And that's my thing.
Like some black GMs.
And that's my thing too. Like
black ownership.
The energy the NFL had, you know what I mean, when Colin was doing his thing, and then now it's supposed to be different. Like, come on, like I feel like it's all fake.
Right. The narrative. How does the narrative change overnight?
Yeah, like come on.
Like we know better NFL. NFL, we holding you to the fire, NFL. Like we holding you accountable.
Yeah, like,
we need more than the national anthem. We need to see some action. We need to see the action.
Right.
I want to see more black coaches. And the black coaches you have, I want them to have more than 1 year and getting fired because they didn't turn a terrible team around overnight. I need to see more than you interviewing a black coach for every position that comes available. Don't interview me just for the sake of interviewing me. Offer me a job.
Yeah.
Give me some opportunity. And that's what we're really looking at. NFL, listen,
yeah, like
the NFL think it's an HBCU. You're gonna think it's gonna play the Negro national anthem, and we're gonna be all right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and knowing the NFL, like I said, I just think it's all fake.
It's the clout chase.
That's how, like you said, interview musicians with blacks. You know what I mean? I think that's the real NFL right there. You know what I'm saying? All this play a national anthem and we're sorry and we should have been listening to Colin the whole time. Oh man, stop it. Stop it.
NFL, we don't believe you, NFL. We don't believe you.
You sound like a clown right now. Like this is like a circus right now. This is very disappointing for me to watch this, and they got the power to actually make them changes, and they want us to sing Kumbaya songs in March. No, bro, we need these laws changed.
Right.
Nobody, I'm talking about like just think of the Robert Kraft and
that's real.
Jerry Jones You know what I'm saying? You got these people that they can make real change. They got the money and they got the influence and the power to do it. And you guys want to sing the Black national anthem. And you think that's gonna make the change? Nah, bro.
This is NFL, we calling you out. We need more. We need more than a Negro national anthem. You can't appease us. Like, we need to see some real. Listen, I'll settle for right now. I don't even need to see no outside change. Let's see some institutional change. Restructure what you do. Start hiring some Black coaches. Give some Black quarterbacks a chance. Like don't play with us, NFL. We're not here for the Negro national anthem. It's not enough for us. So until we see some real action in NFL, we're holding you accountable, brother.
Right.
All right, so let's move on.
Yeah, Roger Goodell, you know. No, you go.
But listen, let's never talk about Roger Goodell.
That's a whole other subject.
Whole another conversation.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to this week's false narrative. This week's false narrative, it's going to be a little more serious than our previous false narratives. We want to look at something that's really been a topic of discussion among me and my brothers lately. The topic is Black on Black crime. So we think today's false narrative be Black on Black crime. I'll start with my stance on Black crime and how I look at it as a false narrative. Just from my perspective, Black on Black crime is not real. And let me explain when I say this, so nobody don't get me confused. I don't say that in terms of when we talk about Black violence in our communities, Black people killing other Black people. I'm not saying that's not an issue, that's not existent. But what I'm saying is, when I talk about Black on Black crime, and I say Black on Black crime is not real, Black on Black crime in form of the term and the lingo and the terminology of Black on Black crime is not it's not real. Black on Black crime is a term that was created to deflect Black people from the problem at hand, right? Number one, my thing is this: Black on Black crime cannot be a real thing if there's no such thing as white on white crime. Crime happens based on proximity. So when Black people kill Black people, 9 times out of 10, it's not because I want to kill somebody that look like me. I'm committing crimes within a radius of where I stay, and the people that stay around me happen to be Black. Statistically, Black on Black crime is no more an issue than with Black people killing Black people. With the rates of Black people killing Black people, the rates are no higher than white people killing white people or any other ethnic group for that matter. But why is the conversation always? And really, I think it's y'all got see when I say this from now. I believe the term Black on Black crime comes from the same, is a birth child of All Lives Matter.
Ooh.
When Black people say Black Lives Matter, the opposing side says All Lives Matter to deflect you from the problem at hand. So same thing with Black on Black crime. Black on Black crime comes from that same tree. So when Black people say we have all these issues, like we need to fix this, racial oppression is an issue in America. These things are an issue in America. The media responds with, "Oh well, Black people are killing Black people at an enormously high rate. Black on Black crime is an issue. Why are they worried about what white people are doing? Black people are doing this to themselves." But this is a response to distract us from what's really at hand. And the scary part is, I hear a lot of Black people respond in the same way. They will quickly say, but it's media brainwashing. They will quickly say, "Why am I protesting white people? White people are police killing Black people when Black people killing themselves." Like that's a false narrative. Yes, Black people kill themselves, but white people kill themselves. People when people murder, they murder by proximity. If people who get murdered, 9 are more likely to be murdered by somebody they know. Facts. And that's facts. When people get murdered, the majority of people that get murdered by someone they know. That's just what it is. People commit crimes and murder specifically based on proximity. People kill the people that are close to them, the people they have access to. It has nothing to do with race. So therefore, black on black crime can't be isn't a real construct. This is a fictitious idea that was constructed to distract people from what's really going on.
So I got a question. I pose a question to you, Wayne. So what is the construct? Like, what is if it's not black on black crime? You know, like you said, it's people in the proximity. Okay, we can come up with another name for it.
Right.
But what is it? You know, we spoke about this. We had a conversation about this. But what can we call this? This I call it a disease. You know what I mean?
It is, and I'm jumping at you, man. I think it's a bigger issue, and I think, and really just thinking from a historical, and I wasn't there to cite facts on this necessarily, but I don't know if black on black crime is a major issue in the way it's structured today.
Okay.
Before drugs were introduced into our community on a mass level. Mm-hmm. I don't really recall older people talking about people in their communities killing each other. I don't recall hearing people saying this.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think that's a bigger issue in itself. So I think we need to figure out number one, reframing the idea of what it looks like, and just reclaiming our communities for one. Number one, just doing that, but also educating our communities, educating everybody to make sure we understand that how the media portrays certain things. The one too, I think a lot of black people have taken ownership over black on black crime.
That's what I'm saying.
I think a lot of black people, even with it being true or not true, right? I think the idea of it has become true because people are taking ownership of it, and people are saying well, this happens. I'm gonna just be accepted.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Believing it in a lie. Yeah, believing in a lie.
I think a lot of people
believing in it.
So I think a lot of people play into it in that fact, and I think that's probably the most dangerous part about it, because we're playing into something that's not necessarily that's necessarily grounded in truth.
Right.
You know, I think I think what happens in those communities, where we see black on black crime as an issue, I think those issues aren't based on black people hating black people. I think it's an issue of like Jose spoke the last couple of weeks. We talk about limited resources.
And I definitely want to touch on that. And the reason why I want to touch on that is because I'm not saying that, the way I grew up, I had the lights off. My parents made sure that I had, we had what we needed, but we still stayed in the hood. But when I look in my community, I'm gonna tell you what I see. I see liquor stores. I see homeless people at gas stations. I see city trends. I see pawn shops. I seen Title Max. I see Title Max. I see Piggly Wigglies, right? I don't see any. Listen, I see some, garage shops or whatever. This is what I grew up around in my community, but there's no industries and there's nothing set up to where we can grow. So you just got to imagine you in high school, right? You graduate, you're going to work at Crystal's, you're going to work at McDonald's, you're going to work at Burger King. There's really not a lot of opportunity. So it's I heard somebody ask T.I. why he sold drugs, right? And he basically was my community didn't have any resources. So he was well, I took the opportunity to be able to create some type of revenue so I can be a resource for my community. And that stuck with me. If you ever look, I'm not saying that white on white crime doesn't happen. I'm not saying that. But if you ever look at more established communities, the crime rate compared to Black communities that don't have resources, it's slim to none. You can go in there, you might hear, small things happening, but in Black communities, there's no resources. People need things that they don't have access to and they can't get it. And what they're gonna do, they're gonna go by any means in order to get those resources, compared to you living in a community where you have the resources. There's no need for you to steal, rob, or kill someone for those resources because there's enough resources for everyone compared to living in a community with limited resources.
Right. That's it. That's real.
But my thing, like my thing is this. Like I said, I give examples. Like, and correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all can chime in at any time because back in Philly when all the looting was going on, all the protesting, you looting, going back to the communities, tearing up everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not only that, you know what I'm saying? Like, another example I gave, to you guys the other day was, a young kid from New York, a student athlete, you know what I mean? Just graduated, but, gets killed a couple of days later, a month, away from going to college, things like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's good? You know what I mean? Those examples like that, going back to the community, looting, tearing everything up to the point where, you already have less resources, but, you put yourself in a worse position by, like it's something mentally, like, what's going on with that? Like, that's my thing, like the whole mental thing. Like, you know what I mean? I already know about systematic racism.
Right.
Put yourself in that situation. It, like T.I. said, it's like chaotic. Like, just imagine you got 10 wolves and you throw one piece of meat in there, right? You think that they just gonna let one wolf eat it? No, they're gonna be fighting, clawing. A wolf might die. It's the same thing with our community. So you gotta think these communities don't have no resources, right? And then now you got opportunities for them to steal. Some people might wear them clothes. Some people might sell them so they can make money. But if you got everything that you need, there's no need for you to loot because you got it already. There's no need for you to loot at all. And some of those people that were doing the looting, they weren't even the same color as us in the first place, and they were just doing it just to make the situation worse.
Yeah,
and I'm not making excuses for the looters at all. I'm not. But go ahead.
Yeah, we go ahead. Wait, go ahead.
Let me jump in. I'm thinking about something right now. I think, and it kind of ties into our title for the day too. I think, especially in terms of when we talk about us, like the Black community, Black people, that's just the state of Black community, and just as a whole, I think one of our issues a lot of times too is we sometimes even within our own culture we tend to divide ourselves into these different subsects of what Black people are. We look at the Black affluent, we look at the Black middle class, we look at the lower middle class, and then we look at Black impoverished people, the quote unquote the hood, right? So I think we have all these different ideas, and sometimes you have these intersections where you have people who grew up what I say sometimes hood adjacent, right? Even myself, I grew up middle class, but I grew up definitely around and very close to people that were doing hood activity. You know what I'm saying? So it's you get to see, and it kind of puts me in the lane of like when Kendrick talks about, like how he talks about on Good Kid, Mad City, being the good kid in a crazy place.
Right.
So you see this innocent perspective who's surrounded by all the things Jose's talking about. So it's almost like hood CNN. Like you're there as a reporter, just commentating on everything you see. But I think where I'm going with this though is, and it plays into our title. Today's episode is called "Happy Birthday, America: Birth of a Nation." So it's kind of a play on the film, like Birth of a Nation. So I think when you think about the film Birth of a Nation, you think about what it was. It was this film, like it was heralded as this amazing depiction of what Black people were, right? But it was definitely propaganda. Anybody who's seen Birth of a Nation knows it's full of lies, right? It's this white guy in blackface playing a Black man, but he approaches it from this animalistic, hypersexualized, super sexual predator who seeks out specifically white women to impose himself on, right? But I think the crazy part is we have all these things that identify Black men, hypersexual, this almost predatory type of way of life. And most of us will look at that and say, you know what, that's not the case. But I feel like as time has passed, I feel like a lot of these characteristics, Black people, and with Black men specifically, have begun adopting some of these characteristics. Not so much from an animal perspective, like I'm an animal, I'm a beast, but I've heard Black men say I'm an animal, I'm a dog, like
Oh yeah,
taking
yeah.
ownership
That's right.
taking ownership of this animalistic like lifestyle, right? And the same
Mm-hmm.
thing with the hypersexuality. You think about like a situation like Emmett Till, right? A white woman lies about him whistling at her, and it's viewed as, oh, he whistled at me, like he's gonna do harm to this white woman. So we need to eradicate, take him out, because even as a child, this guy is a hyper sexual threat to the white woman, right? But I think over time, like we take ownership. Like I know Black men, who take pride in how many women they sleep with.
Oh yeah. Of course.
I know Black men who take pride in just being dominant at all times. Like whether it's dominant in the hood, like I'm the biggest dope dealer, regardless what it is. I'm the biggest dope dealer. I'm the best basketball player. You a bitch, you a hoe. I'm the man. Like, and we've adopted this. We've almost adopted this lifestyle that has been thrust upon us. And I think where I'm going with this is, what are you about to say, Matt?
No, I was going to say, so you're saying the white man or the powers that be have pushed these false narratives, and we just took, ran with them, like the womanizers and things.
And I think we've adopted a lot of them, and I think it not in the same way, and not in the same structure, but I think we've adopted a lot of these lifestyles and these things that were spoken about us, and we've adopted a lot of it, and we framed it to some degree. But I see a lot, quote unquote, Black on Black crime. I see a lot of it from a dominance perspective. I don't see you as a person. It's my job as another Black man. It's my job to dominate you. So if I need to kill you, if I need to harm you, I need to do whatever as long as I'm on top. Like that's what I think a lot of this stems from. And maybe not so much directly, but I think subconsciously we've taken a lot of that on, and this is spilled over into our community.
It's destructive, yeah. It's destructive. So we've owned the destructive, the destructive aspect of it. Like, because everything you say, that's not, you know what I mean. That's not.
And by no means is it to be dismissive of the scenario or situation and the lack of, because that's what, like Jose says. Jose hits it right in the head. Like, you got a lack of resources, and you drop $10 in a circle of people that need money. Yeah, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get that $10. You know what I'm saying? So that's and you look at that's this human instinct, right? Well, I say human instinct. That's survival. That's survival tactics, right? But I think at some point, when you look at the idea of being human, the idea of being human is we have high level thinking skills. We have high order thinking. Like, we're able to think on a super high level, unlike most animals, right? Most animals operate from a survival standpoint. I'm gonna do what I need to do to make sure I survive. My survival is top tier, right? I think as higher order beings and people that who have brains and who can think on higher levels, I think we reduce ourselves a lot of times to moving into those animalistic ways of life that a lot of people, specifically people, have thrown on Black people, like, oh, they're animals, they're beasts, they don't think on a higher level. So I think when we see limited resources, sometimes I think we don't look at it from a space of, all right, yes, these resources are limited. How do I take what we have and make it work for all of us? Even though they're limited, how do we make it work for all of us? But we tend to operate we tend to operate more from the survival space. I ain't got time to think about how I'm gonna make this work for all of us. I'm worried about getting mine right now. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you, but and especially if you're thinking from a master's standpoint, from a powers that be, you will want those destructive, you know, you will want that destructive mentality. You know, the people that you're controlling, you will want that. You will want those negative stereotypes, and you know, the community feeding off that. You know what I mean? Because all this is.
Listen, Max, you know that. Listen, because at the end of the day, if I can control your thinking, and I can control your way of life, and I can put you in a situation. And one, if I can put you in a situation with limited resources, and I know you're gonna resort, I know you're gonna resort to a survival tactic versus a higher order thinking mindset. I'm gonna do it all day because I can control that. Because at that point, I can control the narrative.
Exactly.
As long as
you see what's going on.
I can control the people.
You see what's going on.
So I think
you see what's going on. We see it.
Hold it back.
And also, what I'm gonna tell y'all too, if you look at when it comes to military strategy, the way to conquer a country is by taking its resources. Because when you take its resources, that country is gonna die because they're not gonna have no money to survive. And that's the same thing with black people. If you take the resources, you see what I'm saying? We're not gonna survive. So we're gonna go by the I gotta get it by any means attitude. And then it's like it goes from generation to generation. You see what I'm saying? And instead of like, and I see it even with black, even like you guys, right? You guys come from like middle class homes. You see what I'm saying? Like, so you guys don't have that. I got to get it by any means, like attitude where you gonna take it from somebody, but go into a hood where they don't have resources. They're not gonna have the same mindset like you because
you know that.
Their parents were taught like, yo, you got to get it by any means. Like if you got to steal, you got to rob, if you got to kill, you got to do that because in their lineage, they're not seeing hope. They're not seeing that at all.
They try to survive, man. Listen, I think it's a big thing too. I think this is something just as black people, I think we need to kind of do a better job with. I know, being at limited resources are limited. You know, I think a lot of times for those of us, and by no means I'm saying it's their responsibility to lift the black community on their shoulders, but I think a lot of us who have transcended, you know, a certain standard of living and have moved beyond, you know, paycheck to paycheck, have moved beyond those survival means of making it, right? I think a lot of people, and I see it a lot. I see a lot of us, once we transcend that place, like they run. They like, I want nothing to do with this place. Because and I think for a lot of people, I feel like it reminds me of what I used to be, and I don't want to be there, so I run from it. But I think the big thing is this, though. I think, and it's one of the main reasons I became an educator, and I went purposely to low income schools, purposely went to communities that were struggling, purposely because I know if you're able to foster something in young people. And give them to, you know, and like I said, reshape, you know, just simple things that reshape their thinking, right? I can't necessarily provide you all the resources because I don't have the resources to provide that. But if I can reframe your thinking somewhat, just a little bit, and get you to think a little bit different from the way you've been thinking, a lot of people would be able to transcend their current circumstances and move past where they currently are. I think the biggest thing is like, the state of our community now, as it stands, like it's not like survival mode is only gonna get you so far, because a few people are gonna survive, and you know what's gonna happen to the rest. The rest gonna die. Right. And I think I think it's a huge responsibility for, and not just for the affluent, but the ones, you know, who have kind of reshaped their mindsets, who have reshaped their thinking, those who are hooded, quote unquote, hood adjacent. I think it's very important that, you know, we build community, right? Like we work on the issues that are in our community, not run from them. Identify what the issues are. If there's a lack of resources, finding ways to restructure and give some resources. Because 9 out of 10, a lot of things are lack of information. Like there's lack of resources, but you'd be surprised how many things you look up. You like, oh, I didn't know I didn't know this was at my disposal. I didn't know this was an option. Like there's so many resources that And really, I would say this too. Because if you think about white America, there's many people in white America who are struggling paycheck to paycheck, but they have their knowledge of the resources that are available to them are so much more vast than ours a lot of times. So I think, and then too, there's not necessarily a stigma on white people who look out and who say I need help.
A false narrative.
I think that's another issue in the black community too. I think a lot of black people we like to put our burdens on our shoulders. Like, I don't need no help. I'm gonna figure it out. We're gonna work it out. And like, I don't want to necessarily ask. So I think there's a lot of work to be done, but I think that we are in a place where it's not something that can't be done. Like, we've seen great things in the past.
Yeah.
There's definitely hope. Like I said, even like there's always examples of like people from the worst communities, worst situations, limited resources, who have been able to, and even like who are part of it and contributed to it, kind of look back, reframe some things and say, dog, I was here, but I figured out a way to move past it, So I think it's a big thing, just coming together, again, like I said earlier, not subgrouping ourselves into a situation where I think we need to look at it from a holistic perspective, coming together and figuring out how to make really a unified Black collective, I believe.
Yeah, another false narrative too, like, because that's what they said around when Nip was doing everything he was doing in the community. Right. When he got killed, they're like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing what Nip did as far as giving back and, buying back the block or buying the hood. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go somewhere else, so we ain't gotta deal with the Black. Another false narrative. Yeah. So why wouldn't you go back to help? And you know what I'm saying? Oh, we'll get killed, or like, you'll get killed just by, you know what I mean? Like, that's true. When your fate is your fate, it's a wrap. But that's another false narrative that they push, so we won't, go back and help. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking, like, a lot of these false narratives that we take and run with, are established by the powers that be. You know what I'm saying? Like, it comes, and then we just, you know what I mean? We just run with it. It happens every day. We see it every day.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought Nip Max, because like, you think about that, like, I hear a lot of people talk about Nip, a situation where a person comes from the hood, was involved with the gang in the gang life, who gets into rap from an independent standpoint, like built from the ground up. I mean, not alone, but he did it. He and his small circle did that together and built an empire. And pour it back in the community. And a lot of people say, look, like, this guy came from the community, poured it back into the community, and he got killed by somebody in this community trying to give back. So I think, I think this is too, though. Like, I think we need to be very careful about saying that, because look, even in Nip's passing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, Nip's legacy, like, will live forever. Like, that transcends, like, the idea of, like, I haven't seen it on this level from a rapper probably since Pockets died. Like, as far as like the impact is shaping the culture and shaping just like people in general. So like, you look at that, like, I don't think, like, even in his death, like his legacy lives forever. I think people are always gonna see, like, it's definitely inspirational, especially anybody independent, like, easily. Like, he definitely reshape the game, like reshape the idea of and especially when we talk about limited resources. Like, you look at a guy like, don't got a huge budget, but again, reshaping your mindset. I'm gonna put a mixtape out and I'm gonna sell it for $1,000.
It's a threat. He's a threat. He's a threat. Yeah, that was a threat. Like, think about it. Like, you doing all that in South Central. Like, you got kids looking up and the gang culture looking up to that. Oh no, but I don't want to say, like, listen, I don't want to say. You see what I'm saying? So, because sometimes we gotta look deeper than what's going on and see, like, hold on, like, like, see what this guy was doing. They told us, and I was watching a video the other day about the footage that was, that we saw when everything was going down. Like, hold on, like, but listen, I'm not gonna touch that. We gonna keep it moving. But yeah, like, you're a threat. You're going back to the community, helping others, and the kids seeing this positive Black role model. Hey,
right. Right. So it's definitely a bigger picture. I think it's a lot, but I think there's a lot. There's a lot of work to be done. But then again, I think there's I think there's a lot of hope on the horizon as well, though. I truly believe that. Any last words before we move to the next topic, Curtis?
The only thing I want to say, this kind of ties in. I remember I had a conversation with one of my homies one day, and we were wondering like why Black parents push out their kids so much at 18. Why they do that? Because if you look at and it comes to the mindset, because when you look at, say, I'm not saying all Black people do this, but I know a lot of Black friends, when they turn 18, my mama like, yo, you got to get the hell out. So you're 18, right? You still, hold on, let me.
No, I'm saying real talk. A lot of people before that.
So 18, right? You already young. You're not really. You're grown, but you're not mature. You're gonna make those mistakes. Yeah, so you make so many mistakes. So when you're 30 years old, you got so many scars. You don't really even know how to recover. And when it comes to like white families, they really sit down and they educate their kids when it comes to like how they need to spend their money. They're telling them like, yo, it's better for you to stay here for about another 5 to 10 years and stack your money up to where you'll have some type of leverage when you're going out to the world, where it's owning property or owning a business. They're instilling that in their child.
Right.
And we got to find a way to break that curse, because it's like, even in the Black community, it's like we're just taught like, hey, you got to be strong, you got to do this. But if you look at the white community, they're working together so well. That's why they're successful, because they understand the concept. They understand what it takes to get to the next level. Not all of them are rich, but they understand like, hey, if we come together, this is how we're going to get to the next level. You might make $30,000, but then over, say, 10 years, you might be able to save $100,000, and then you take that money and put it into a business. Compared to a Black family, not all Black families, but compared to a Black family, they don't kick you out at 18.
Let's make that clear.
Then you don't. That's why I said they're gonna kick you out at 18, and then you got to learn from the mistakes that you made. And then by the time you realize it, you got a whole trail of scars and y'all beat up, and now you're looking back like, dang, I should have did it this way, but it's too late.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up too, Jose. Like, I was having a conversation with my coworkers not too long ago. Like, just in general, like even the idea that like you see a lot of Black people put their kids out at 18, but then too, you look, a lot of that is contributed to like in generational wealth, where you know what, when white people know, one, we got bread, finances are taken care of. I think that goes back to what we talked about too, like the limited resources. You looking at a lot of Black, not all, but you looking like those Black households specifically where you got to get out and get it for yourself. Again, resources are limited. It's hard to pay, but like we don't got the money, we don't got the funds to support another adult living here. Or sometimes too, like even this situation, even the ones who don't necessarily leave, right? I've seen numerous situations, multiple situations where even before 18, like the children in the household are thrusted this responsibility and this role of, we need to make sure these lights stay on, we need to make sure the bills are paid, are thrust upon the children, right? And then think about this, right? Even before working age, right? Think about a low-income household. How many Black people who grew up in low-income households grew up with bills in their name, cars in their name, like property and stuff in their name, auto loan, all kind of crazy stuff. You're going out trying to get a car, trying to get a student loan. You're trying to look, not even necessarily escape necessarily, but you're trying to better yourself. They running your credit. You like, yo, you got mortgage in your name. You know that?
Wait.
Like, you got a loan. You got a loan deferment, and you like, where is this coming from? But you talking about, again, limited resources. People get by whatever they need. What's up, Matt?
What you think was going to happen with Corona, right?
Listen,
the economy going the way it's going. You know what I'm saying? We talk about, you brought up a good point, because the early, the age is, it is 18, it may be 16, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, your mom, dad the job laid them off, the Corona.
Exactly. So now you forced, listen, you a child.
Forget school.
Listen, now you forget school, you the breadwinner now. I gotta keep the lights on.
Right.
Look, listen, for those who know me, like personally, like I work with students, and I work with low income students, and I help them prepare for college. But I can't tell you students I know, like, I'm at the school trying to meet them, trying to have a session with them, trying to make sure their stuff is straight, and they not at school because they're at work. So I ain't worried about my A's and B's. I'm trying to keep these lights on.
Exactly.
I got kids. Listen, I got kids who come from households. Dad had a stroke. Dad can't work. She working 2 jobs and going to school.
And then also, Max, me and Dwayne had a conversation like 2 days ago. This ties into it when it comes to paid internships that lead to high income jobs. So because you don't have the resources, right? You can't afford to even take 6 months to a year to work for a company to where when you start off, you're gonna start off 50 to 80,000. You gotta work. So it's like the people that are already set up that got the resources, their parents can afford to say, I'm gonna pay your rent, I'm gonna pay your car insurance, your cell phone bill, I'm gonna do all that, right? I wasn't afforded that. I gotta get a fucking job. Excuse my language. I gotta get a job. Oh, my mama tell me, oh, you want to do that internship? You gonna have to get a regular job, and you gonna have to do the internship. So now that's putting more stress on me. I'm working twice as hard as working against somebody that already got the resources.
Right.
But it's like in the Black community, we're already taught that like you gotta work twice as hard. But in communities that got resources, they not taught that. They taught to use whatever leverage you got. You see what I'm saying?
Right. That's generational wealth at its finest.
The odds been against us, man, ever since we touched, we touched down.
Listen, and this is why being free ain't enough. Yeah, we free. Yeah, we free now. What about the 400-year head start y'all got though? We'll talk about reparations on another episode.
That's another day for another subject.
Inspired.
Another day.
Oh man.
Nah, man. You see with this, I don't even blame. I mean, I can't look at black and black. I don't even want to use that. I see because I'm like, hold on, I'm putting the pieces together. You know what I mean? I'm looking at it like, okay, this is systematic. Yeah, this is definitely systematic. You know what I mean? Yeah, and we just run with it. We fail because we run with these things.
Oh yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
We take it for what it. Listen, we take it for what it is. We take it at face value, and we say it is what it is. This is the state of it. But we don't think about the infrastructure, and I think that's a big thing too. We don't think about infrastructure. We don't think about where this comes from. We don't think about why, and we don't think about how to systematically break these things back down. Because one, it was systematically built, so we gotta be systematic and break this thing down. Like it's like we gotta start thinking that way.
I think this is. We see what's going on. I think this is the breakdown of the infrastructure of America. What's going on right now?
But the FBI might pull our plug down. The FBI can pull our plug.
I think we've seen everything unfold. You know what I mean? Unfold in front of our eyes. You know what I'm saying?
If they give us the same opportunities, they're not going to be able to control us no more. If we get them resources, it's over with. They can't control us.
This is the thing about it. This is the thing about it too. I think for whatever reason, and I don't know why, there's this irrational, and it goes back to our theme too, like Birth of a Nation. There's this irrational white fear of Black people without reason. I feel like white people have this irrational fear. They create these predatory ideas like, I need to create a reason to be scared of you because I know that's not a real reason for me to be afraid. So even with the idea of the infrastructure and just granting, give me an even playing. I'm not asking for more. Give me an even playing field, a truly even playing field. And that don't mean I'm free, you free. That means give me the years worth of resources that you took away from me, that you took away from my people, the generational wealth that my family wasn't able to get for 4 or 5 generations, to give me an even chance that you have, right? I think a lot of white people are afraid if I give you an even playing field, you're going to take something from me. It's not Black people's interest to take anything. We don't want to take anything from you. Just give us a fair shot. Give us equal. That's all we want. That's all we want.
This is, you know what narrative this is? You remember the series, The Hunger Games? This is the exact same. I'm like, literally, they're like, yo, we're gonna take all the resources from the people. We're gonna take one person. We're gonna put them in position to make them feel like they made a difference. But I'm literally, it's literally the exact same like narrative.
Listen,
it's just
guess
with
what,
white
Kurt?
people.
Guess what?
White people flip it.
And you know what's crazy?
You win the movie. It'd be America today.
Listen,
predictive programming.
I'm glad you brought it up. Think about this though, Jose. Think about this. Like, white people literally compare like giving black people a fair shot to this super fantasized science fiction film, right? Like it's ludicrous. Like they go from one extreme to the other. Listen, white people need to be glad black people don't feel like, you know what, I'm gonna treat y'all like y'all treated me. Listen, the day black people wake up, if white people need to pray to God that black people never wake up and say, you know what, I'm about to take this country back and I'm about to do everything that you guys did to us back to you. Because if that day ever happens, it's going to be hell to pay. Listen, to be honest,
at that point,
it's
above me.
The minorities of this world, if the minorities of the world wake up one day and say, you know what, we about to pay back everybody from Europe of European descent for everything they've done to listen, this is beyond America. We're gonna pay you guys back for everything you guys done to all these countries with people of color for centuries. Listen, it's going. Listen, white people need to pray to God that this never happens, because it's gonna be a riot, a real riot. This ain't gonna be no peaceful protest. It's gonna be a problem.
But the thing about it, but Wayne, the thing about it, you see it's a lot of white people. Listen, you see us a lot of white people protesting.
Oh, listen, best believe too. There's some out there that are on the right, that are on the right side of history. There's some out there who are step one. Listen, there's step one that people just out here saying, you know what, we admit to what happened to you guys. So listen, if it ever goes down, best believe the ones on the right side, they gonna make sure they're on the right side of the war too. And listen, just knowing how minorities are for the most part, we ain't gonna have no issues. We're gonna say, come on over here, and we going to war.
Right.
Oh man.
All right, they gonna be right with us. Because at the end of the day, it's good versus evil, man. It's good versus evil.
That's at the end of the day, that's what it is. It ain't about black and white. It ain't about color versus not color. It's about right versus wrong. And and people, if you're listening, I need you to decide what side of the fence you're on. Are you on the right side or you on the wrong side?
It's evil.
Basically, that's what it comes down to.
Point blank.
Right. Oh, it's been a good conversation, guys. All right, so let's do this. Let's pivot. Let's take it to a little lighter note. We're gonna wrap the show up with our recurring segment, My Top 5. This week's top 5 is not gonna be. So this week it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be a debatable top 5. It's gonna be a more personal top 5, more by preference, more by choice, and it's gonna be about personal experience. So this week's top 5 is my top 5 concert experiences. So myself, Jose, and Max, we've been tasked with choosing our best 5 concert experiences, and we're gonna share those with you guys today. All right. I know Max had some struggles making his list. I did myself as well. So it was so many great concert experiences that we've all had. So who wants to take it first? I think Max still thinking. Jose chilling over there. Y'all want me to go first?
I'll go ahead and go. No, you go ahead and go, Wayne.
You want me to go? All right, I'm gonna go
Wayne.
I'm gonna go first. So my list is a little difficult to make too. I've been to some great concerts. Seen some of these guys multiple times. But I think I made a pretty definitive list for myself, based on my experience, based on the memories I have from them. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into it. And I'm gonna try my best to share my list but I'm not gonna share the order because it just depends on when I reflect on it. It depends on how I feel about it. So I'm gonna start. with my list. Pretty diverse. So we cover the gamut a little bit. So I'm gonna start with this concert. This is probably one of the better concerts I've been to in all my concerts I have listed have been in my adulthood. But this one was very, very good, very excellent. Personal story. For a long time in college, like for a while, like my love of hip hop was very jaded just because of the state of the hip hop culture and the music that was coming out. It was very fun. It was stuff I would listen to, but it was nothing I could really connect to. But somewhere around like '08, like '07, '08, somewhere around there, like there was this large influx of like internet rap, and all these young cats were coming out, like just making like just different and new and progressive sounding stuff, and like it just reinstilled like a love of rap and hip hop again. So we actually had a chance to go see a few of these artists in person in Charleston. What year is this? Was it 08, 09? I think.
It was 09.
Jose and Max were at this show as well, so they remember this. So the show I'm going to, Wiz Khalifa.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw Wiz Khalifa and Yellow Wolf in Charleston. So this was a time like mixtape scene was heavy, but this was right after Kush and Orange Juice that came out. So this is like, in my opinion, still Wiz's best work. And like, listen, the show from top to bottom was amazing. Like, great show, great crowd, like super diverse. Like you look in the crowd, you see all types of people. The card was diverse. Wiz being from Pittsburgh, Yellow Wolf being from Alabama. You have super distinctive styles, like, but amazing show. Next show, I'm gonna follow up that with another show. Jose and Max were at with me. We went to see Kendrick Lamar in Atlanta. This was right before. This was probably 2011, I believe.
Something like that.
So this was right before. It was the BET Music Matters tour. So this was right before Good Kid, Mad City dropped. So the album hadn't even dropped yet. So this is right after like Section 80. So, but I remember the show. It was Fly Union, great show, great lineup. Fly Union, J Rock, Ab-Soul, Kendrick Lamar. But listen, I think the great thing about the lineup was great. Again, super diverse show, super diverse crowd. I remember specifically when Ab-Soul came on stage. Like, listen, you would have thought it was Ab-Soul was headlining. Like, the crowd just took over the show. Like, listen, it was crazy. It was crazy. Like, you could literally, like, you could feel the floor shaking. Like, you could feel like the room was moving. You're like, yo, this is like, it's crazy. Like, I've never seen a response to a guy as independent as Ab-Soul too. Like, Ab-Soul, one, he's out there. He's super left, talking about pineal glands and revolutionary Black thought, and seeing this group of like just like super diverse group of people like just chanting the lyrics at him. It was like, and the crazy part, we were at the Tabernacle, so it was an old church, so it felt like almost like a church service. Like they were reciting the lyrics back to him like he was a preacher. Like, oh my God, like it was like amazing experience, great concert. Kendrick definitely killed the show. Section 80 some great hits. Took it back all the way back to the Kendrick Lamar LP. Some great like true fan records they performed. Like people crowd reciting lyrics back to him like no, I've never seen before. Amazing show. Next show on my list, I had the opportunity to see Big Crit. I've seen Big Crit twice actually, both in Columbia. But this one time the lineup was superb. So the lineup was Big Crit, Sci-Hi the Prince, and BJ the Chicago Kid. So again, listen, amazing lineup, amazing show, killed it. All acts killed it. This is literally after like Sci-Hi just dropped No Dope on Sunday. BJ had just dropped the record. What's the record with Chance? Church. Oh my God! Listen. Amazing show. All artists killed it. BJ killed it. Sci-Hi shut the place down. A Big Crit. Listen. I have so much love for Big Crit. Being a kid from the South and hearing a southern artist from rural South with with lyrical prowess, but still has these very Southern roots, very Southern sound. Literally came out on stage with a Cadillac. My guy had a Cadillac. Listen, played my sub like you could feel the bass in your face.
Whoa. Okay.
Like it was amazing. Amazing show. Amazing show. All right, we're gonna change direction slightly. All right. One of the greatest shows I've been to that I can remember was not even a rap show. Was in Atlanta at the Tabernacle. Had the opportunity to see Janelle Monáe live in concert. Listen, one of the most amazing musical experiences of my life. Literally, first time I've been to a concert and saw people crying, people weeping with emotion, with the words this woman was singing to them. Like amazing experience, amazing show. Killed it top to bottom. Amazing vocals, dancing, high energy from beginning to the end. Great features. Surprise appearance by Big Boy at the end of the show. Like stupid guys. Amazing show. All right, and then I'm gonna wrap with this show. So this is this concert experience is a little unique. So it's not one specific concert. It was actually a concert festival. I had the opportunity to go to One Music Fest in 2015. Had an amazing lineup. Saw some great artists. Some of my favorite artists. Had the chance to see Rory on stage. Caught the end of SZA when she first was bubbling. Saw a great performance from Wale on stage. Amazing show by Wale on stage. Great stage presence. Killed the show. Even got off stage, came through the crowd. Like, listen, amazing. Had the opportunity to see Janelle Monáe again this day. Killed the same energy again. Saw the whole Wonderland crew. Had that chance to see Jadena on stage performing. The Formula, the Classic Man, great records, great show. Listen, I was torn at the show. There were so many great performances going on at one time. I literally had to sacrifice seeing Big Crit because he was on another stage while I was watching Wale. So I had to make a choice. So I literally sat and watched Wale because I had tickets to see Big Crit later that month. So I'm gonna wait to see Big Crit. Literally missed the Roots because, and I'm gonna tell you why I missed the Roots. That just sounds blasphemous. Why would a hip hop fan intentionally miss out on the Roots? Right? Listen, I'm gonna tell you why. ASAP, the entire ASAP mob was performing on stage prior to the Roots, right? So the Roots are going on as ASAP mob is finishing up, right? Finishing up their set. I can hear the Roots playing in the distance, right? Crazy, like hear them going in, but I can't leave because I got to see a listen. I'm gonna call her a rap legend, but a musical legend, a musical genius. I had the opportunity to be graced by Lauryn Hill's presence herself.
Whoa.
Listen, one of the most amazing musical experiences of my life. To see a true, listen, I love Black women to death, but literally to see this woman and see the vision of a queen on stage, tearing it down. Hands down, one of the greatest, from top to bottom, one of the greatest musical experiences of my life. That's my top 5. That's why I missed the Roots, but I did watch the Roots Picnic live on YouTube last week. So hopefully that makes sense. Black Thought, top 5 MC of all time. I'm gonna get to see you in the show one day. I don't care if I gotta go to Jimmy Fallon and see you in the audience.
Mess that up, bro. Nah,
listen. You can't listen. You can't judge. Listen,
that's a
you
sin.
Can't, listen. You can listen. It's also a sin to miss out on Lauryn Hill, like live in concert.
That's a fact.
I had to make it. I had to make a tough decision.
Yeah,
very tough
decision. That's one of the ones right there. This
is how I decided though. I felt like my odds to see the Roots again is much higher than me being able to see Lauryn Hill again.
That's a fact. I agree with you. I definitely agree.
All right, that's my top 5. Who's next, guys? Who's next?
I'm gonna go ahead and go next. I'm not gonna be, as long-winded as Mr. Nettles. You know what I'm saying? I got an honorable mention, and I didn't want to leave this person out.
Honorable mention.
Toby, I think his last name is Enigma.
Oh, Toby.
I had a friend, Enigma. I had a friend named Kimberly King. She invited me to come to the show.
Shout out.
I heard some music. I really didn't hear a lot of music from him. I didn't know. I'm like, I know he can rap. I go to the show. I'm like, dang, it's like packed. I'm talking about it is super packed. I see Sean Falion there. I'm talking about I'm seeing like people in Atlanta that I respect. I see them at this show. It was probably one of the greatest. It could make my top 5, and the only reason why I didn't put it in there because I'm not a true fan. Like I need to listen to more of his music. But as far as his wife singing, that was so amazing. He had background singers, like the people in the. I'm talking about like crowd. The show was so packed. I was in the middle. I couldn't even see nothing. I'm talking about it was so many tall people in front of me. I had to go to the back just so I could enjoy myself. But that was a great show. I'm talking about down from like R&B records to like rap records. It was like amazing, like hands down. Like the way that he shows love for like his wife on the stage, like while he was rapping. I mean, that's like true black love. That's like any MC's dream for you to be on stage like with your wife and be able to enjoy it, and she enjoys that. So that's my honorable mention. Number 5, I'm gonna have to say T.I. and Young Thug. I got an opportunity to go to a free Tidal concert, and I was literally in the front. And what amazed me was the way that the people were spitting the Young Thug lyrics. I'm like, there was an Asian guy, an Indian guy, and a white girl behind me, and they knew all the lyrics. I was lost. I turn around, I'm like lost. Number 4 is gonna have to be Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz. You know, that was another free Tidal concert. I wasn't in the front, but I got a chance to go for free through Tidal. That was a great concert. Number 3, I would have to say Dave East, Nick Grant, and Saha the Prince.
High level.
That was listen. That was the first time I heard. That was the very first time I heard Nick Grant. And when I left the show, I went and downloaded his mixtape. I was like, this guy. I'm talking about like the room was already. There was like some undercards, maybe like 1 or 2 people that undercards. And when Nick Grant came on, I'm talking about he captivated the whole room. I wanted to know who this guy was. I'm like, whoa. And Saha, he had a record with Saha, so Saha performed with him. And then, you know, of course, this was in Dave East. This one, he was coming out with like records like Type of Time. I'm trying to think of another record that he came out with. I think that was the Kyrie mixtape. I think that was it. My number 2 would have to be the show that Dwayne mentioned was Kendrick, Ab-Soul, Fly Union. You know, Matt Smith's Fly Union. The thing that I remember about that show was when Kendrick Lamar played Michael Jordan. It was like everybody grabbed arms like Kumbaya. The whole freaking floor was shaking. You know what I'm saying? When he was like, Wayne told me that. And that's just how it goes. Michael Jordan, I'm talking about everybody was like grabbing arms. You see what I'm saying? Number 1, my favorite concert that I've ever been to of all time would have to be the Wiz Khalifa and the Yellow Wolf concert. This is when Wiz was coming up. I'm talking about the Kush and Orange. I'm talking about listen, this is before Black and Yellow. This cool Wiz right here. This is before Black and Yellow. This is cool smoking Wiz. Concert packed. Held it down.
Club smoked out.
Whoa.
Like, oh, Jesus Christ.
So, you know what's crazy? And that's when I started to realize that police really didn't care about weed smoking because at some of these concerts, police was in there and like people was literally passing weed around. And everybody was like smoking. I was talking about like passing it around.
Like, listen, throwing blunts on stage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Listen, I'm keeping it short and sweet. Very short and sweet. Listen, all I gotta do, I'm just going with number 1. I'm just going straight to it.
That's going straight to the top.
I'm going straight. It's all that matters. Oh, shout out. Yo, Pharoah Monch. His show is stupid. No! Pharoah Monch show is stupid. His show is stupid. But like you said, the
Get
Kendrick
the fuck out.
show, that was dope. The Wiz show was dope. The Jay Electronica show was dope. Pusha T show was. I'm gonna just say this one word.
Listen, Max didn't invite nobody to none of these shows.
Like,
if you notice, listen, if you notice, me and Jose's list, Max is at most of the shows. Max list, none of us are there.
Come on, don't do it like that. Don't do it like that. Listen,
on there on the list.
It's so many. It's just one that sticks out. Listen, his name, he goes by the name of Kanye West. He came out with an album named Yeezus.
A great album.
Listen, I'm gonna just say this. Listen, I was gonna say this. Listen, I was hoping to go to Chicago from Atlanta to see the second show. I'm just leave it at that. For my birthday. But anyway, if you have it, it might be some clips on YouTube that you can check out the Yeezus show. An experience.
Kanye Cheddar. Amazing show. Matter of fact, I have one more.
Yo, next concert I go to, I'm gonna definitely let y'all know.
Yeah, please, let's invite me and Jose for once. Like this one.
I got you.
But we can't afford it. Max be going to like high profile Max backstage with Jay-Z.
Don't do it like that.
Oh yeah,
it's over $60, bro. I can't do it.
No, how we doing that? No, how we doing that?
Listen, Max like I was with Jay-Z and Beyonce at the on the run.
Where this money coming from?
That's an honorable mention. Honorable mention. And this is a show that one show that my brother's at too. Big Sean came, hooked the homies up with a favor, came down for homecoming and did a show in Columbia, South Carolina for the team. Came down, did a show, and then turned around the next night, performed at Benedict's homecoming off the strength that he was still there. Real good dude. Big Sean's a homie.
Big Sean,
I've seen Big Sean twice in concert. First time was still new, hadn't really came out yet, had just signed with Kanye recently. Second time I saw him a few years ago in Myrtle Beach. Listen, when you talk about growth, listen, show was amazing. One of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
You know what's crazy?
Shout out Big Sean.
I tell people that story to this day. You know how he came to Benedict. You know what I mean? And
Sean was literally chilling.
And I never forget this. Hey Kurt, do you remember? He was like, I don't care if it's 10. He just came from he just came from Japan. He was like, yo.
No. He was going to Japan.
Oh, he was going to
Japan. He was going to Japan to shoot a video literally the next day.
Crazy. And he was like, yo, because we gotta tell the whole story. Or we're gonna save it for another show.
Go and tell it, man. Go and tell it.
No, I think we should save that. I think we should save it.
Tell the abbreviated version.
Yo. I want to do it justice though.
Max want to do it justice. We're gonna say it.
But I remember this quote though. He said, I don't care if it's 10 or 10,000. He rocked it. And listen, we're gonna tell the story, the whole story, the whole homecoming weekend on another show.
That's the story of growth though. Big Sean in 2008 was performing in Knights of Columbus in Columbia, South Carolina.
Hold on, where are you supposed to say this story?
No, we gonna say.
And he opened. Listen, and he opened for Young Bird. And
hold on. No. We gotta say this. This is another. Continue to be continued, please, because this story deserves its justice.
But I got a shout. Listen, I'm gonna call this man my brother for life. He might not remember this, but I remember it. It's a big part of my coming up. Jose and Max as well. Really respect this man. Respect this man's grind. Respect his growth. Great things. We're gonna elaborate on another podcast. Hopefully Big Sean sees this and he remembers the story and he comes on the podcast. Hopefully we'll reconnect with Big Sean. We have part 2, Knights of Columbus in Columbia, South Carolina again.
The stories is it gotta be done. It gotta be done right.
Oh, we gonna have to say it ain't told. He gonna
Say it
start
ain't
the show in my closet.
In my closet.
Yeah, this is like circa 2008.
Circa 2008. I was a young professional at the time. Coming back to homecoming. But
I wasn't even Jose. I was just broke.
Yo, we should do. Yo, you gotta put footage up of homecoming. Yo,
we gotta find the footage. Listen, the footage is out there.
Yo, we was wilding.
Max was at an all-time high. Max is on a whole nother level. But we'll save that. We're gonna save that for the homecoming edition. There's a good chance homecoming's gonna be canceled, but homecoming is not canceled. We're gonna have keep homecoming going live on the Last and Hip Hop podcast. We're gonna share some homecoming stories. So stay tuned. That's coming up real soon.
Hey man, shout out to you guys, man.
Shout out my brother Max.
Boy.
And my brother
Wayne and Max.
Shout out my guys. Another great episode. Always great conversation with these guys. Whether we agree or not, it's always good. It's always good conversation. Always good to bounce ideas. And we just want to share the experiences that we have every day with you guys. So again, we want to keep the conversation going, keep the engagement going. The engagement doesn't stop. It doesn't stop here. Don't take this as just entertainment value. Please share your ideas, share your thoughts. Whether they're the same, whether they're different, whether they conflict, we want to keep the conversation going. We want to talk to you guys, and we want to share. We want to drop knowledge and bounce ideas. That's what this is for. So on that note, we're gonna move into our last segment, shameless plug. I don't know if there's anything to plug necessarily, but I'm gonna give everybody a chance to do it. They need
you do. You about to perform this weekend.
That is right. Thank you, Max. Shameless plug for myself. Of course, follow me on Instagram at Mr. Nettles, MisterNettles. Follow us at Last and Hip Hop, because that's what this is about. This is about us. It's about the team. It's about the collective. Follow us at the Last and Hip Hop podcast on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to the page. Check us out. Check out this video. Check out the past week's videos. Check us out on Anchor, the audio version. Check us out on Anchor. We are now on Spotify. We're on Apple Music. I think we're on 8 different platforms currently, and 8 platforms and growing. Thank you guys for the guys who followed us so far. Plug my show this weekend. I'm performing on Saturday as a part of the Laughs and Lyrics Showcase at the Golden Den. This Saturday, tickets are $5 in advance, $10 at the door. Please come out, support me. Come out, have a good time. Support myself and support the other acts. Because it's not about me, it's about everybody. It's about the showcase. Support the other acts. Support the lyricists. Support the comments. Just support young Black entertainers who just trying to make some moves at the end of the day. Like I said, it's not about us. It's about the collective. And when I say the collective, I mean that as a whole. The Black community, Black people, like support Black people, support Black. We're gonna keep it moving. Anything you got to plug, Jose?
I'm gonna keep it for the next episode. I'm working right now. I'm out to enjoy, a little vacation. I ain't really celebrating 4th of July. That's just a day for me to relax.
Juneteenth part 2.
Listen, Juneteenth part 2, man. We outside.
I'm gonna be the DJ at my family crib. I'm gonna turn to a gangster party. I'm play some clean Snoop Dogg. Clean Snoop Dogg, clean Dr. Dre.
Yeah, you popped it, Wayne. You popped it.
We outside.
Come on, Wayne.
We outside.
Oh, yeah.
Listen.
We outside. Alley boy.
Corona season.
Listen. We outside this weekend. Juneteenth part 2. What's up? We get through coronavirus.
Outside. We inside. We inside the yard.
We outside, man. What's up, man? That's the safest club.
The yard.
Meet me there, man. Just meet me there. Day parties. Listen, day parties.
Listen. Be safe. Don't listen to this guy. Be safe. Wear your mask.
We outside,
wash your hands.
Man.
Be safe. If you celebrate 4th of July, be safe out there. If you're celebrating Juneteenth part 2, like
4th of July.
If you're celebrating
Juneteenth
part 2, Juneteenth part 2.
That's what we calling it, man.
Keep it moving. Stay safe. Check us out. Continue to support us. Support my brother Jose. Support myself. Support my brother Max. We're gonna see you guys soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ski.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Ski.